Good morning. So welcome to another wilderness tamed video. We're back in a meadow that I've been to once already this season. Looks like now most of the things have gone off. I'll just reach out a bit. There was a lot of colour in here 2 weeks ago, I think, when I was last here. But now it seems to have gone over, knapweeds and harebells and things like that. And we've also got a bit behind us which is full of hogweeds, which I'm going to take down. I mean, sadly they've gone to seed. They should have been done a bit earlier. But I'll flip you around and show you what's been done and how it's already starting to recover. So hang tight. So here's the section with the hogweeds and unfortunately a monkey puzzle tree. There's a bit of colour through there. What's that, scabious, and there's a few more common knapweeds at the back there. But yeah, we're going to get these hogweeds down. As I say, unfortunately they've already gone to seed, so it's a bit of a lost cause, but it'll tidy it up. And then just not show you the house, that's private, but there's a mown path here, and then this bit I did a couple of weeks ago and it's already starting to recover. You can see in here it's a nice mix. There's still a couple of bits of colour, some red clover, a couple of hawk's bits, a wild carrot there, that's some betony. So yeah, there's still stuff going on. Nice thin section there, not too much knapweed in. But the question is, a random shuttlecock, when to mow a wildlife meadow. And I prefer to refer to them as wildlife meadows rather than just wildflower meadows. Because if it was just a wildflower meadow with nothing else, it wouldn't be doing the thing, wouldn't be serving its purpose. It's a wildlife meadow, and how and when to mow is very dependent on what state it's in when you get it and what the end result is, what you want from it. Now obviously you want as much colour and diversity as possible, but that includes not just the flora but the fauna as well. So you're going to have all kinds of invertebrates in here, small mammals and reptiles and amphibians, quite possibly. In this one, rather unusually, skimmed past my tripod, we also have guinea fowl, which have abandoned this nest, which has, I think, about 27 eggs in, but how one bird is supposed to incubate all of those when they're spread around like that, I do not know. But guinea fowl are notoriously shocking parents. So, yeah, you mow as often as you need to get the results you want. If you've acquired a meadow that's full of thugs like the hogweeds we've just looked at, nettles, thistles, docks, fairly dominant plants that you don't particularly want, then you need to cut and remove as often as you can. And as you probably know by now, or you should do if you've watched a few of these videos, is cut and remove is a way of reducing the nutrient level in the soil, which benefits the wildflowers. Doesn't benefit the grasses as much, well, not your sort of classic lawn grasses, but so you want to reduce the nutrient level, and these things like the thugs that I've mentioned won't tolerate that so much, and they'll start to diminish. If you've already, like this, got a well-established wildflower meadow, then the cutting doesn't need to happen so often. And what I'm doing here is doing it in stages. So as I say, 2 weeks ago I came and did this initial strip here and a strip on the other side. Today I'm going to do the hogweeds and then another strip down this main part of the meadow here. And the reason for that is, like I say, it's a wildlife meadow, so you've got invertebrates, possibly amphibians, small mammals, voles and shrews. You want to give them a chance to get out of the way, but you don't want to take all the habitat away in one fell swoop. That would just be nuts. Not really promoting biodiversity at all. You're kind of getting rid of it all. So do your meadow in stages. Even if you've got a small lawn, don't do it all at once. Give stuff a chance to retreat under cover, still providing it with some long grass. Wait a few weeks, the bit that you've mowed starts to recover, do another section, wait another couple of weeks if you can. And by the time you get to the end, certainly on a meadow this size, the first bit you've done's already put on enough height to protect those smaller animals again. So it's just thinking of, how do I mow the meadow but not completely wipe out everything that's living in it. So there you go. So I'll crack on. I'll go and do the hogweeds first. I think they'll put up the most resistance. Shot on. So it's quite a warm day. I'm still here. It's fairly early in the morning. Still some dew on the grass. Had a bit of rain last night, so the vegetation is actually quite damp, which is good. Means it's nice and soft to mow. I'm using a rough man-made carborundum stone because those hogweeds I knew were going to dull the blade pretty quickly. There's a lot of finer stuff in here, but there's also a lot of knapweed, which is a very wiry, tough stem, so that again will dull the blade. So I'll just stick with the coarser stone to sweeten the blade with, sweeten the edge. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the early morning and a bit of moisture in the vegetation, that's nice. It gives a nice soft sweet cut. Whereas as the day warms up and the moisture drops out of the vegetation, it'll dry up and get a bit more brittle, and it'll affect the blade even more, dull the blade quicker. So the earlier you can set to on your mowing, the better. The wetter the better. I'm not suggesting you get out and it's torrential rain, but yeah, nice damp grass is nice and sweet to cut. So I'm going to work away. Take that corner off, square that up. So the aim is to mow as wide as you can, hence the lean to the left and the right in my swing. I'm mowing probably not far off 3 meters at its best, but on average about 2.5 meters. So yeah, a good swing. This little sharp bank on this side is going to require a shorter blade, and I'll do that the next visit. I'll maybe put at the minute I've got a 75 centimetre, so I'll maybe put a 55 or a 65 maximum. Shut up, man. Just to cope with the contours. Bigger blades aren't very good in undulating ground. But on a nice flat meadow like this, they're ideal. So I'll do a little bit more of this, just another few swings, just to sort of square it off. Maybe just take a little triangle off at the bottom of the bank there, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Leg of a very curvaceous dog, and then there's a bit in the corner we're going to do. There we are. Saved this from being mown on the last visit as there was just so much colour left in it. Oh, I'm shining you right into the sun there. Let's bring you into the shade. See, I haven't got so much glare on the camera. There we go. So yeah, this bit on the last visit, all these knapweed was still in flower. Looks like there's still a few betony and hawkspits and things. There was also a lot of harebell, but they seem to have gone over. Quite a short-lived flower anyway. Insects are becoming a bit of a nuisance. But oh, there's another hogweed. Excuse me. Ah! Yep. That's that down. Actually, you've probably seen enough of the actual scything. What I should do is talk about the mowing and the vegetative mosaics. I'll do that now. As you can see from the bit I've literally just done, I'm getting down to the moss layer in the meadow there. So obviously the blade is pretty much on the ground essentially, so you're cutting pretty close, pretty far down, and then it recovers. So again, 2 weeks ago this was done, and the plantains especially are already bouncing back, creating a nice green layer, regenerating pretty quickly. So perennial stuff, it comes back, comes away again really quickly. There's the remains of some clover flowers there. Yeah, all in all it greens up in no time at all, so it doesn't look too barren and desolate. And again, it's August, so there's still plenty of warmth to encourage a bit of growth. I tend not to want to mow much beyond September really, as the weather starts to cool down and you cut nice and low, and then there's not much growth through the winter, which is fine in a way if you have very early spring flowering plants like your primroses and cowslips, or any even spring bulbs in the sward that come through, so they can show their faces without being swamped by the early spring growth of all of this stuff. There's a betony that's still in flower, just about to go to seed, and empty. Oh no, it's still got some seeds in it. Yellow rattle, which is the semi-parasitic classic meadow plant that everybody wants to subdue their grass growth. There's even an oxeye daisy over there, a little white splash of white. But predominantly everything of merit has gone over now, and these things will all be left to lie. You've got to let it lie. Hawkspit. Oh, scatter some seed to allow the seed to drop and replenish the seed bank. So it's not like we're completely obliterating this and getting rid of all the flowers. There's always regen, and obviously with them all being perennial, they're going to regenerate anyway. You've seen the flies. I feel like Pigpen off the Charlie Brown cartoons. I shall now demonstrate the safe replacement of a blade guard. This is something I really concentrate on when I'm doing training courses. It's something I wasn't shown how to do, but it's quite vital. So, being a left-hander, I feed the guard on using my finger and thumb of my left hand onto the blade, and then follow with my right hand, squeezing the blade guard in place. So guide, thumb and forefinger, squeeze with the following hand. This blade guard doesn't quite go to the end. And there you have it. Yeah, as I say, I wasn't shown how to do that first time, and I just thought, all right, just pop it on and then run you. No, you don't, because it missed the edge of the blade. However, that finger end didn't, and I took it down to the bone, and it was several days before I could play guitar again. In fact, it's probably a couple of weeks. I've also seen people attempt, I'll just remove this slowly, to pop it on at one end and then slide it up the blade. Ooh, no, because that's not going to work either. So, and keep your eyes on it. It's a very mindful exercise. You concentrate on exactly what you're doing. To summarise, don't mow an entire wildlife meadow all in one go. Do it in stages to allow the wildlife to move to safety, and allow plenty of time between the stages, so that by the time you're doing the last bit, the first bit is starting to put on a bit of growth, and that way you're creating a nice mosaic of vegetative heights or vegetative habitat, giving all the little bugs and beasties a chance to move around, move out of harm's way, forage, take shelter, and all that sort of important stuff that they do. Let me know in the comments if you found that moderately useful. I do always strive to be moderately useful, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Actually, this is part 1. Part 2 is this afternoon, and it's in another garden where I also did half a few weeks ago, and finishing off this afternoon. Part 2, just got a single strip of meadow to mow. And there you have it. Thank you for watching. If you want to know when the next one comes out, you need to subscribe and click the bell icon, and you'll be notified about the next video. But in the meantime, get out and get grubby and enjoy yourself in the garden. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.